What if the greatest battles we face aren't fought on battlefields but within ourselves? Sarah Mitchell was once a powerhouse CEO leader, unstoppable force, until one moment shattered her world and left her unable to walk. For years, she lived behind silence and fear, trapped in a body that refused to obey. Then from the most unlikely place, a janitor with a heart full of hope, came a promise that would change everything. What happened next defied all odds, breaking through walls built by pain and doubt. This isn't just a story about walking again, it's a story about finding courage when all seems lost. Stay with us because what you're about to see will challenge everything you think you know about strength, healing, and the power of human connection. Don't miss a single moment. Sarah Mitchell sat in the quiet corner of the Maple Bistro, the soft candlelight flickering across the delicate diamond studs on her ears. Her pale, perfectly manicured fingers froze mid-air glass of deep red wine hovering just inches from her lips. Across the velvet rope that separated the diners from the staff, a janitor stood quietly, mop resting against the wall beside him. He wore a look that wasn't pleading or timid, just unwavering sincerity. David Jenkins, a single father, and the janitor who worked nights cleaning the very floors she wheeled across, had just uttered words that felt almost sacrilegious in this room of polished power. "I want to help you walk again." Sarah's steel gray eyes narrowed as a slow, disbelieving smile curved on her lips. "You want to?" What she asked, her voice dripping with cold irony. The soft hum of the restaurant faded into silence as the tension between them thickened. The hum of the city beyond the glass walls suddenly distant and irrelevant. "You heard me," David said quietly, taking a small step forward. "I want to help you walk again." Her laugh was short, sharp, cruel, the kind reserved for those who hold all the cards and care little for mercy. "You're a janitor," she sneered. "Are you going to perform spinal surgery with a mop and bleach?" The words cut through the room with surgical precision, but David's gaze didn't waver. "No," he said, voice calm but firm. "I offer something your doctors haven't." "And what's that?" she challenged, leaning back in her wheelchair with an air of ironic detachment. "Perspective," he replied simply. Her fingers moved toward the call button, the one that summoned her personal security. "5 seconds to leave before I call them," she warned. David smiled faintly. "I've only cleaned the floors beneath you these last 8 months, 3 nights a week. I know more about you than your mirrors ever will." The words stopped her cold. David's brown eyes held hers with steady compassion, not pity. "You pretend you can't move your legs, but they move when you're angry," he said softly. Just now, your left foot flinched. Her finger froze, mid-air uncertainty flickering for the first time. David turned and began to walk away, leaving a small card beside her untouched dessert, a simple business card with just his name and number. "I'll be here until the end of the month. If you ever stop pretending, call me." Sarah sat motionless long after he left. She hadn't touched the card yet. When her driver wheeled her away, she found it tucked in her coat pocket, a quiet reminder of the unexpected hope David had ignited. At home, David watched his 7-year-old daughter, Lily Adams, coloring quietly at the kitchen table. "You were late again," she said, glancing up briefly. "Got caught up talking to someone," he replied. Lily's innocent eyes held a wisdom beyond her years. "She looked sad," Lily said softly, like she forgot how to smile. David smiled faintly, the warmth of tea slipping away from his hands. "Some people carry invisible burdens," he whispered. 4 years ago, David had watched his wife slip away into silence and paralysis after a traumatic miscarriage. Doctors called it conversion disorder, a psychological paralysis with no clear cure. But David refused to accept that she was lost. Through endless nights of care and hope, she fought back inch by inch until she walked again, only to lose her life in a volunteer mission months later. The pain had carved a fire in David's soul, a fierce determination to help others broken in ways unseen. Back at the Maple Bistro, Sarah sat alone in her luxury townhouse surrounded by pristine glass and steel, yet feeling utterly empty. For years, she had built an empire, commanded industries, and hidden behind elegance and silence. But David's simple, honest words had shaken something deep inside her. "Perspective," he had said. She found herself staring at her legs, a flicker of doubt and something more, hope. She was a woman who controlled everything except her own body and mind. The next evening, David returned to the restaurant after his shift. The maitre d' nervously pulled him aside. "There's a request." From the woman in the VIP room, she asked for you. David's heart skipped. He hadn't expected this. He stepped into the softly lit private dining room where Sarah waited. Her posture was impeccable, but her eyes softened with a new curiosity. "You asked for me," he said gently. "I have questions," she replied, voice steady. "Ask away," David nodded. Their conversation was raw and honest, a fragile bridge between worlds. Sarah admitted the terror of trying and failing, the weight of a life lived in silence and control. David shared his own heartbreak and hope, reminding her that healing was messy, slow, and sometimes terrifying. Then, for the first time in years, Sarah whispered the words that had been locked inside her soul. "Okay, let's begin. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future." What do you think Sarah felt the moment she said, "Okay, let's begin"? Have you ever been faced with a moment where you had to choose between holding on to fear or stepping into hope? What would you do if someone unexpected offered you a chance to change everything? Share your thoughts below. What surprises you most about this story so far? The days that followed marked the beginning of a grueling, unpredictable journey. Sarah Mitchell found herself locked in a battle, not only with her own body, but with the invisible chains of doubt and fear that had held her captive for years. David Cooper was no ordinary janitor. He was her unlikely guide, her fiercest champion, and the mirror reflecting a truth she'd long refused to see: she wasn't broken beyond repair. Their sessions began in the sterile quiet of Sarah's sunlit sitting room. David, armed with nothing but a worn yoga mat, resistance bands, and an unshakable belief, navigated the complexities of Sarah's paralysis. At first, progress was invisible. Small twitches went unnoticed by all but her sharp gaze and David's patient eyes. She resisted every move, bristling with frustration and anger. "I'm not your project," she spat during one session, her voice brittle. David didn't flinch. "You're not a project. You're a person who's been forgotten by herself." One evening, as a low autumn sun cast long shadows through the windows, Sarah allowed herself to close her eyes and breathe, something David insisted on. "Your body has forgotten what safety feels like," he explained softly. Breathing reminds it. It was the smallest concession, yet it cracked her armor. Sarah's fingers twitched involuntarily. For the first time, she noticed the subtle movement of her toes when she got angry, the reflexive flex of a foot when she was frustrated. These small betrayals of her body whispered of life still clinging beneath the silence. But the real battle was inside. Memories haunted her of a husband who loved the spotlight more than her, of a life turned cold and controlled. The so-called accident that left her wheelchair-bound wasn't a fall. It was a surrender, a mind-built fortress that even her doctors couldn't penetrate. David listened as she confessed her deepest fears. "What if I try and I fail?" Her voice trembled. "Then I'll be right here," he promised. "If you hate me for pushing you, I'll still be here, because I believe in you." Sarah's progress was a jagged line, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There were days when the pain and shame threatened to swallow her whole, moments when the relentless glare of the world seemed too much. Tabloids mocked her, labeling her a fashion victim in a $10,000 wheelchair, while whispers at charity events questioned if her recovery was a facade. One particularly brutal morning, after a night of nightmares, Sarah surprised David by answering the door herself. No assistant, no makeup, no polished facade, just raw determination in her eyes. She'd decided to confront the fear head-on, even if her legs still trembled like fragile saplings in a storm. In the privacy of her home, David introduced her to the mirror, an instrument of honesty and healing. "You'll see yourself fight back," he said. Sarah hated mirrors, the silent judges of a life she barely recognized, but she obeyed, catching glimpses of strength beneath the cracks. Together they moved to water therapy, an unfamiliar freedom. In the warm embrace of the pool, Sarah's legs began to kick gently, then stronger, as if remembering a dance long forgotten. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't wipe them away. She whispered, "I forgot what it felt like to be alive." Outside therapy, life tested her resilience. An anonymous message shattered the fragile hope she was building. "You're a fraud. Some things don't deserve second chances." The words were a weight that forced her back into darkness, retreating from sessions, slipping into silence. David refused to give up. Each knock on her door was a lifeline. And one morning, Sarah opened it pale, but standing, leaning, trembling, yet upright. The moment was raw, fragile, but real. Fear still lingered, but hope was no longer a stranger. At a gala for spinal injury research, Sarah arrived in an elegant navy gown, wheeled in by her assistant. The room buzzed with whispers and half-hearted applause. Then, with quiet determination, Sarah surprised everyone she stood. Slowly, shakily, but unassailably, she took step after step across the marble floor. Silence swallowed the crowd, turning time into a held breath. When she reached the podium, her voice rang clear and unyielding. "There was a time I believed stillness was strength," she said. "But stillness is fear dressed in silk and marble. I spent 5 years in a wheelchair, not because I couldn't walk, but because I was afraid to face what it would cost me to try." The crowd erupted in thunderous applause and tears. Sarah's honesty was a beacon, a resurrection of spirit. She wasn't just a survivor, she was a warrior reclaiming her life. Later, surrounded by children and families at the newly opened Bright Path Foundation, Sarah found peace. The center buzzed with laughter, art, and hope, the embodiment of healing beyond the body into the heart and soul. David watched Sarah with quiet pride, knowing their journey was far from over, but celebrating each step forward. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future. What part of Sarah's journey resonates with you the most? If you were facing a challenge that seemed insurmountable, what would give you the courage to try again? Share your thoughts. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a breakthrough that changed everything? In the soft glow of the morning sun filtering through the windows of the Bright Path Foundation, Sarah Mitchell stood confidently, no longer defined by the chair that once held her captive, but by the strength she reclaimed piece by piece. The journey hadn't been easy. It was marked by moments of doubt, tears and setbacks, yet here she was, standing tall and embracing a future she once thought impossible. The foundation, once just a dream born from pain and hope, was now a thriving beacon of healing and possibility for countless others facing their own battles. Families came seeking not just physical recovery, but a renewed sense of purpose, reminded that healing was never just about the body, it was about reclaiming the soul. David Cooper watched her from a quiet corner, holding his daughter Lily's hand. Together, they had witnessed a transformation that went far beyond the physical. Sarah's resilience became a symbol not only of personal triumph, but of the profound power that kindness and belief could ignite. At the grand opening gala for the foundation, the room was filled with faces, some familiar, some new, all united in the promise of hope. Sarah took the stage, her voice steady and filled with the grace of hard-won wisdom. "There was a time when I believed my story was written in silence, in shadows," she began. "I thought stillness meant strength and pain was something to hide. But healing isn't a destination, it's a journey, a daily choice to stand up, to face fear, and to let love in." Her words resonated deeply, moving the crowd to tears and standing ovations. Yet amidst the celebration, Sarah looked beyond the applause to the people who might be listening, watching, and wondering if they too could find their own path to freedom. Later, as the gala wound down, Sarah found a quiet moment with David and Lily. The three of them sat beneath the softly twinkling lights, sharing laughter and stories of family bound not by circumstance, but by hope and healing. Their story was not just one of overcoming paralysis or physical limitations. It was a story of courage to confront one's darkest fears, of the unexpected gifts found in kindness from a stranger, and the power of human connection to change lives. Sarah's journey reminded everyone that no matter how broken one may feel, the light inside never truly fades. It only waits for a chance to shine again. To you watching this story unfold, how did Sarah's courage move you? Did it remind you of your own strength or inspire you to believe in second chances? What feelings did you experience watching her transformation? If this story touched your heart, please comment 100 below to show your belief in the power of hope and resilience. We'd love to know, where are you watching from? Share your city or country in the comments so we can connect across the world. And if you know someone who needs a reminder that healing is possible, that love can rewrite the hardest chapters, please share this video. Together, let's spread stories that inspire, heal, and unite us all.